Greetings. Today the moon is in fiery Sagittarius, so we're shifting into a fire sign from where we've been in watery Scorpio for the past 3 days. I'm Marina Orms here with your Astro Vibe for Wednesday, April 16th. So with the fire moon, we get a little more energy, a little more drive, a little more um, impulse to do things and to move and to act. And we also, at the same time, late on Tuesday night Pacific time, so 11:30-ish p.m. Pacific time on Tuesday, Venus goes into, no, sorry, Mercury goes into Aries. And so we've got this ongoing shift that we've had in recent weeks of planets going into Aries, some retrograding back into Pisces, including Mercury and Venus when it both went into Aries, retrograded back into Pisces. Mercury and Venus both now direct, and Mercury, as of Pacific time at least, the very beginning of Wednesday, we've got Mercury now in Aries. So in addition to having the moon in a fire sign, we also have this uh, planet Mercury, which is about communication in the very beginning of Aries. Aries, remember, is the sign of emergence, of life force energy, of the will and the desire to live, to move things forward, to emerge into reality in many ways, right? So, like the sprout coming up out of the ground, emerging into the light of day. We also have things that are at their very beginning to take shape. And so, what is that going to be? That is what we get to discover. We get to put in action ourselves. We get to see where we need to have courage to make things happen that we are excited about, inspired by in the bigger picture, what is moving us, what is important to us, what gives meaning to our lives. And so finding that way to put things in motion, put things in action. And with today's energy, today's vibe, we have some more of this energy of movement, of action, of things emerging into the light of day, things just at their very, very beginning to become ultimately something more mature, something more developed as time goes on. So we also have, of course, Neptune in that first degree of Aries. And since Neptune went into Aries a few weeks ago, we now have this energy of new beginnings, taking that feeling of the dream, the imagination, the bigger picture of meaning, and turning it into action. And so the need to act according to our dreams, the need to act according to something that brings meaning to our lives. Again, not acting according to delusion, confusion, places where we could be misguided or have gone down the wrong path, right? So that's why we have the planets going into Aries, retrograding back into Pisces, and that's going to happen with outer planets Neptune and Saturn also going into Aries, retrograding back into Pisces. So that this cusp, it really is a cusp between Pisces and Aries, where Pisces is bringing the completion, the culmination, the ending point, the letting go of all that has gone before in as something travels through the zodiac. So if the moon is going from Pisces into Aries, which it's not, the moon is in Sagittarius, but if it when the moon does that, goes from Pisces into Aries, we have that completion of that month of the moon going through the zodiac. But when it comes to Neptune, we have 164 or 5 year cycle that we are completing. And so what we are completing with Neptune in Pisces is something that began 165 years ago. And so big picture, long-term cycles, and we have a need to really understand what it is we are completing, and a need to release, right? So what does that look like? What does it feel like to release something that is happening in that big of a time frame? It looks like something that takes time. So that is what we are doing. Of course, now Neptune is in Aries. So we've crossed into that rebirth point. We are getting a taste now of what the new cycle is going to look like. What are the themes going to be as we begin to see the little baby steps starting to emerge into reality, emerge into consciousness, and into our awareness. Now, that is also significant with Mercury joining up with Neptune in that first degree of Aries. So, bringing voice. Mercury is the planet of communication, it's the messenger. And so, bringing a voice to this bigger picture of what we want to create, what is emerging, what we are just now at the very beginning of. And so, finding the words, ability to articulate what we want to create, and just at the very beginning phases of that, or just beginning to see the first baby step of what that might look like. So, voice and Mercury going into fiery Aries. Now it has completed its time in Pisces, where we had to go within, remember? And we had to clarify and connect with our own deeper place of knowing, our own wisdom. So hopefully you've been working on that. We still have more of that to complete, with Venus still in Pisces and Saturn still in Pisces. But then once Venus and on April about the 30th, and Saturn later in May go into Aries, then really, like I was saying, it's going to be some green light go kind of vibe. So we're just starting to take these first steps. It behooves us to be clear about what's important, to take that step back, to remind ourselves what matters, what we want to create, and whether our actions are helping us move in the direction of what we want to create. So we get to try things, we get to make mistakes. Aries is all about falling down, making mistakes, and picking yourself up and trying it again. So we get to do that. We get to forgive ourselves when we make mistakes, and we get to learn from our mistakes. So we've got some of this Aries energy. And to bring it back to the moon in Sagittarius also is philosophical. It's asking us to reflect on what's been moving below the surface, what we've been feeling or not quite able to articulate yet, and to start to see how what has been moving inside of us needs to find its place in terms of meaning and our beliefs and what guides us. So, getting clear about your big picture. What is guiding you? What do you need to remember as you go forward? Because it's important in the big picture. So, this is a great moon sign today and tomorrow to think about what is important to you in the big picture, and specifically, what are your beliefs? What are your bigger picture principles? What do you want to remember when that green light, when that light turns green and you're full speed ahead? What do you want to check in with yourself about to remind yourself of what is important and why you are doing what you are doing? So, connecting with your big why, maybe even writing it down as a statement of what is your guiding light, your guiding wisdom that you want to remind yourself of when you are in the thick of it. So those are some thoughts for today. Also noticing how your beliefs are changing, what is emerging, what is coming into your awareness that will inform your beliefs, your understanding, your views, your opinions, right? What you think about different things. And so paying attention to what is changing, what you are integrating into your beliefs that may be new or a shift for you. And so that could be valid as well to really ask yourself, is this really important? Am I really connecting with the things that are most important to me? All right, so that's a lot. Thank you so much for being here and for subscribing to this YouTube channel. I so appreciate you and want you to invite you also to check out my new member site. The link is in the description for this video, so click where it says more to expand the text, and you'll see the link in there. You can click that, check it out. If you checked it out before, there's a little bit more that is publicly available now. So I'm kind of learning the settings and all that stuff. So click on the site to go check it out, and there should be a little bit more at least for you to be able to see there. And please sign up. I would love to have you join me. All right, thanks for being here, and I will see you next time with more astrology for unshakable self-care. Bye for now.